Okay, so today we will talk about vector spaces. It will be your part 1. We will have a part 2. Let me first start by giving the definition. So, definition. Let V be a set which has operation of addition and scalar multiplication So basically, by this we mean that we have an operation, so a map, from V times V to V, and we denote this operation by the symbol plus. So if we start from two vectors, V and V prime, then we will associate another vector of V that we will call V plus V prime. So we assume that there exists, this is a symbol for there exists, such map. And also we will assume that there exists a map called the dot, scalar product. So here we go from a vector and a scalar, and the result, the output, will be a vector. So if we are given a small v in capital V, which is a set, and we are given a scalar, lambda, then we will associate as output a new vector that we will call lambda dot v. Okay, so these are the first initial data for a vector space, a set, and two operations, one is a plus, one is the dot, the scalar product. And we are going to ask that these data satisfy the following conditions. The first condition, so we will have a set of conditions for the addition and a set of conditions for the scalar product, for the multiplication by a scalar. So the first set of solution is concerned with addition, so I call it A1, A4. We will have 4 like this. So this operation plus satisfies the following: V plus W equal W plus V. So we say that this is true for any vector. The second condition is that V plus, so let's say U plus V plus W, this will be equal to U plus V, within bracket, plus W. This condition is called commutativity. Let me write it down, commutativity. Of the plus. And this one is called associativity. Okay, we have two more conditions. One is that there exists, so again, this is a symbol for existence. There exists a special element that we will denote 0 under bar. This element is an element of the set V, and such that it satisfies the following condition. We have V plus this vector is equal to 0 plus this vector is equal to V. Finally, we have last condition for the plus. For any vector v, there exists a vector denoted minus v, such that it satisfies the condition that v plus minus v is equal to the zero vector. And this, by first condition, is equal to minus v plus v. Okay, so this element is called the zero vector. Zero vector. And this condition is existence of inverse. Existence of inverse, so this minus v is called the inverse. Okay, we have another set of conditions with respect to the second operation. So I'm going to call it M1 to 4 because M like multiplication. The first one is that if I have lambda dot u plus v, this will be equal to lambda u plus lambda v. M2. So lambda plus lambda prime. So this is the addition in R, of course. And if I do this times v, this will be equal to lambda v plus lambda prime v. M3. Lambda times lambda prime. So here multiplication in R, and then I apply my scalar multiplication by u. This will be equal to lambda times lambda prime u, or this will be also equal to, yeah, this is enough. And finally, the last condition is that one scalar product with v will be equal to v, and this is true for any vector v. Okay, so yeah, let me add a few remarks. Okay, so a vector, yeah, sorry, I didn't finish my sentence. So v with this operation and these two operations satisfying this A condition is called a R vector space. The elements v in V are called vectors, and the elements lambda in R are called scalars. Let me give you some remark about the notion we introduce. It follows immediately from this 8 condition that we have the following. So namely, if you have lambda times u equal the zero vector, then this is true if and only if lambda is 0 or u is the zero vector. You can deduce this just from this condition. Another remark is that -1 times v, so if you multiply the scalar -1 by v, it is actually equal to minus v, which is the inverse of v. Okay, now I would like to give you examples of vector spaces. So we are going to see a lot of examples. Okay. Now, what is the smallest possible vector space? Well, the smallest set is the empty set, a set that has no elements. But this is not possible for one reason, because of condition A3. By A3, we know that there exists one element at least. So a vector space must contain at least one element. And indeed, a vector space composed of just one element, so just one element that we will call the zero vector, this will be always a vector space. Yeah, I'm going to use this abbreviation, V for vector and S for space. So I will call that VS. Okay, this is a R vector space. Now, what is the operation plus? The plus here will be the operation that send. So basically, I'm going to send. I just need to define what is this, right? Because there is only one element. So what is this? Of course, I will set this to be the same element. And what is scalar multiplication? So if I have lambda and the only vector, then I will set it to, of course, so it should be a vector, remember? So it should be set to the zero vector. Okay. So this is the smallest possible R vector space. Now, okay, so I will have to erase these conditions, unfortunately, but keep them in mind. Okay, now, what can be bigger than that? Well, actually, the next smallest R vector space is R, the set of all real numbers, and we will put on R its natural addition and the natural multiplication. This is a R vector space. Okay, why? Well, if you have a look at condition A1, A4, so associativity and commutativity, these are natural conditions of the real number. Okay, the existence of the zero element, zero vector, well, in this case it will be just the real number 0. Okay, so we will have, in this case, this will be equal to 0. And the inverse of a real number, what will be minus x? So minus x has a meaning, this is minus x, where x is a real number. So this is well defined. Okay, so this satisfies indeed the 8th condition, and it is R vector space. We have nothing in between smaller than R and bigger than 0. Okay, why is that? It's because if you have one number, then because you have this scalar multiplication, any real number will be necessarily inside this vector space. Okay. More generally, we can define R to the n, where I need to define a plus and a multiplication, scalar multiplication. So first of all, this is the set. What is this set? So this notation here stands for, so it just means that you will take R times 3 dot R. N times. So this is a set. What are the elements of this set? Well, a typical element will be n tuple x1 3 dot xn. So you have n component such that any entry in this component xi is a real number. So if n equals 2, then this will be a pair of real number. If it's n equals 3, it will be a triple, etc., etc. In general, it is an n tuple. Okay, this is the vector space as a set. Okay? Now we define the plus. What is a plus? So to define the plus, I just need to understand what is this operation. So I need to take two vectors that I call x1, xn, and the second vector y1, yn. And I need to define a third vector that will be also an n-tuple. Okay? Now, I'm going to do like this. I'm going to add component-wise. So the first component will be x1 plus y1, and the last one xn plus yn. This is a well-defined operation plus from Rn to Rn. Okay. Now, the second operation that I need to define is the scalar multiplication. So in this case, I start from a scalar, which is some lambda in R, and a vector. So I need to define what is the meaning of lambda dot x1, xn. So here you understand this is a definition. I have to define this operation. Okay, so again, the result should be a vector, which means in this special case, a n-tuple. Now here again, I'm going to multiply component-wise. So the result will be lambda x1, 3 dot lambda xn. Okay, I have defined these two operations, and now I should check that the 8 conditions A1, A4, M1, M4 are satisfied. It's a little long to check all of that, so why don't we check, for example, we are going to check one condition among the plus and one condition among the multiplication. Okay, for example, let's check the commutativity. So, first of all, these two operations satisfy the 8 condition A1, A4, M1, M4. And we check only, so we are going to check, A1. Okay, so what is A1? We need to check that x1, so if I start from one vector, x1, xn, and I add it with another vector, y1, yn, then the question is this equal to y1, yn plus x1, xn? Okay, so the answer is yes. So the left-hand side, what will it be? It will be, so I add component-wise, so it will be x1 plus y1 and 3 dot xn plus yn, as you can see. But the right-hand side, what is it? It will be, again, I add component-wise, so it will be y1 plus x1 and 3 dot and yn plus xn. Okay, this is by definition. But now, are they equal? Yes, they are equal. Why is that? It's because component-wise, the addition in R is commutative. So the explanation of why are they equal is because addition in R, in fact, satisfy A1. Okay, so basically, to check that this space, this vector space, is a R vector space for A1, we are reduced to the same assertion A1 for R, so the case n equals 1. you can check that all other properties you can reduce to the case where n equal 1. Okay, you can reduce to the real case. Let me give you one more example. Okay, so if we check, for example, M4. Okay, if we check M4. So M4, you need to check that 1 times a vector. So a vector is a n tuple, x1, xn. This should be equal to the vector itself. But this, by definition of my scalar product, this will be 1 dot x1, 3 dot 1 dot xn. And so this is equal to x1 xn because in R this one has a property M4. So 1 times the scalar is always the scalar. Okay? So this is true because M4 true for R. Again, I have used the same property for the real numbers to prove the property M4 for this special vector space. As an exercise, try to do A2, A3, A4, and M1, M2, M3. Okay? Now, another example of R vector space. So this was example 3. Okay? Let's find another example. So we have, namely, the following example. We will take V to be following set. So here we are going to take mat M N R. So the set of M times N matrices with coefficients in R that we have seen in the previous chapter. Okay, here again I will need to define these two operations, scalar multiplication and addition. Well, I'm going to take addition of matrices. So this was defined in our chapter on matrices, okay? And the result is indeed a matrix with the same number of rows and the same number of columns. Now, what was scalar product? So this also, we have studied this. So remember, lambda dot Aij is equal to the matrix with entry lambda ij. Okay, so here again, these two operations are completely well defined, and this is a R vector space. Now, to prove this, you need again to prove the A condition A1, A4, M1, M4. How to prove this condition? Well, you will prove it again by reducing to the analog condition on the real number, basically. Okay, so this is a good exercise. Try to do that. Just a few examples. So what is the zero vector in this case? The zero vector will be the matrix with only zeros as entries. This will be our zero vector. What will be the inverse of a matrix? So minus Aij. This will be, of course, minus Aij. Okay, so this tells you about the two of the conditions. And you can check easily that everything is satisfied for this. Okay, so another example, we can consider the set of sequences, so of real number, so xi are real number. This will be our V. So this is called the sequence. Okay, so here again we need to define the plus and the scalar multiplication. So the plus, well, very easy. This will be defined just as the addition component-wise and the scalar multiplication will be also component-wise. So lambda times a sequence x with entries xn will be the sequence lambda xn. This is also a R vector space. So as you can see, vector spaces can take a lot of different shapes, but they are all described by a set and two operations satisfying these conditions. Let me see another example. So here we are going to consider for V this set. Okay, so what is that? This will be by definition the set of polynomials in the variable x with real coefficients and of degree less or equal to some number n. Okay, so what is an example of such object? Okay, so we need to know basically what is a polynomial. So what is a polynomial? I'm going to call it Px. In general, such a polynomial can be written as a capital N x to the n plus 3 dot a0. Oh yeah, so let me write the second term here. The second term is a n minus 1 and x to the power n minus 1. Okay, and then you decrease of a degree, and this will be a0. So the degree of P of x is the biggest I such that AI is non-zero. This is the degree, the definition of the degree. So here there are the coefficients, and for example, if an is non-zero, then the degree of px will be n. Okay, but sometimes it can be lower. Okay, but it cannot be larger than n because we take only polynomial of degree less or equal to n. Okay, so this is a typical. This is a vector. This is a vector. Now, what is the plus and the scalar multiplication? Okay, so we take P1 and we want to understand what is the plus, P2. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, we will just take so this one, let's say that this is an x n plus 3 dot a0. And we are going to call the second vector bn xn to the n plus b0. Then the plus here in this set of polynomials will be just an plus bn x to the power n, and then plus we finish by a0 plus b0. This will be this define a very nice plus operation. So this is our definition. What is the scalar multiplication? So you see that each time you want to give an example of vector space, basically you first start by a set, you define the set, then you define the two operations, and then you need to prove that the A conditions are satisfied. Okay, so it takes quite a long time. Now, what is the operation lambda dot a vector? A vector here is a polynomial. So what is this? This will be lambda a n x to the n, okay? Plus we got lambda a 0. Okay. Now I have defined, so as you can see, these two polynomials will be polynomials of degree less than n. There is a subtlety here, is that we cannot take here equal to n, because if we add two polynomials of same degree, then this operation can lower the degree. As you can see, we add this, so this can be 0 sometimes, which means that even if the two polynomials are of degree n, the sum of them might be of degree less than n. Okay? Now, this is also a polynomial of degree n, or less than n, because imagine that my lambda can be 0 here. Okay, so if my lambda is 0, I will find the 0 polynomial. So what is the 0 polynomial, by the way? The 0 polynomial will be something like that. Okay, so 0 times x to the n plus 0. This will be my 0 polynomial. Okay, and you can check that. So this is R vector space. So let's write it down here. With this plus and with this scalar multiplication, this is a R vector space. Okay, and once again, to prove A1, A4, M1, M4, you use the definition of your operations, and then you reduce the problem to an assertion on the real number itself. Okay. Yeah, let's finish by a last example. Okay, so last example I would like to finish with is example where I consider as a set the function from R to R. Okay, and then of course I'm going to define what is the plus and what is the scalar multiplication. Okay, so this as a set, it will represent the set of functions, so I call them by a small f, from R to R. Okay, that will be the meaning of my set. Now, what are the operations in this case? Okay, for the plus, I need to define, for example, what is a function f plus a function g. Okay, so this, I need this to be a function. Here my vectors are functions. Okay, so this is a function, which means that I have starting set, it will be R, and it must go to R. So what am I going to associate to some real number x? I will associate f of x plus g of x. This will be my plus. This will be the meaning of, so this will be the meaning of f plus g of x, which is quite natural, okay? Now, what is a scalar multiplication? Okay, so I need to define here a function that is called lambda dot f. Okay, so here again, lambda dot f is a vector. So this is a function from R to R. Now I need to describe what is the effect on some real number x. Now here is a little less obvious, okay? So in fact, the correct answer is lambda f of x, lambda times f of x. This will be by definition, the definition of our scalar multiplication in this case of vector space. So let me make a remark on this. Remark is that if we define lambda f to be f F lambda x, for example, this does not satisfy the condition M1, M4. Therefore, we can, so, you know, why do we take this definition rather than this one, F lambda x, or instead of lambda f of x? It's because this other possibility, would say, actually does not satisfy the conditions. Okay, so if you want a vector space, you must set this. Now this, with these two operations, is a vector space. Okay, so what I want to emphasize here is that vector spaces describe many realities. So remember, it can describe just the real number. First of all, these conditions A1, M4 are basically copied on the behavior of real numbers with respect to their addition and their multiplication. So this is the first big example that you need to understand. Then you can take copies of R to the n. This is an example, another example of R vector space. You can take different things like matrices and functions. These are also R vector spaces. So vector spaces is a very general notion that can describe many different possibilities. Okay, there are many other examples, but I will stop with this seven examples. Okay. Now I would like to finish this lecture with a notion of subspaces. So let me give the following definition. So we are going to define something that is smaller than a vector space, but has kind of the same properties. It will be called a subspace. So we consider first, let V be a R vector space, okay? And we consider also a subset W. So this is the notation for a subset. This symbol with possibility of equality. So W can be equal to V, okay? So such a subset is called, so this is a subset, right? But we are not defining subset here, we are defining subspace. It's called a subspace. So this is an important word here. If we have the following three conditions. First of all, this comes with a zero vector because it's an R vector space, okay? So the zero vector in V actually belongs to W. This will be the first condition. The second condition is that if we are given two vectors in W, then V plus V prime, so this addition is in V, okay? This is again an element, a vector of W. The last condition, so here we say that W is closed by addition. It is closed by addition. It means that if you add two vectors in W, then their addition is still in W. And the last is that if you multiply a vector, so V is a vector of W, and lambda a scalar, okay, then the result will be still in W. So here we can say that W is closed by scalar multiplication. So if you are given a subset of a R vector space, okay, satisfying these three conditions, then you will call it a subspace. Now, the nice thing about subspace is the following. So remark, any subspace W in V is a R vector space for the same plus and dot. Okay? So any subspace is an R vector space. And another remark, so let's say remark 1 and remark 2, is that we can regroup conditions S2, S3 in the following condition. So let's call it S2 prime. Okay? It says that for any lambda and mu real number, and for any vector u and v in your subset W, then lambda u plus mu v, this also belongs to W. Okay, so these two conditions can be regrouped in one condition. Okay, now let me give you some examples of subspace. Examples. Well, first of all, if we are given V, any R vector space, then first of all, this can be considered as a subset of V. This is also a subspace. This is a subspace of V of itself. Okay, and you know that V has a zero vector, but we have seen that if we just take one element, the zero vector, and we handle it with the natural operation plus, and so this is also a subspace of V. So if you have one R vector space, then itself is a subspace, and the zero vector alone is also a subspace. Okay, this is most easy example. Let me give you another example. Okay, so here you consider a matrix, mat MNR, okay, and you will consider W to be the set of column vector, okay, so Rn, you remember, is a set of n tuples, so we can denote this like this, x1, xn, like an n tuple. I can see it also like this, and this is the same, okay, horizontally or vertically, and you can see that I can consider this as a column vector, okay. Now let's consider the set of column vector or element of R to the n such that A times this vector is equal to the zero vector. note that this is A times V, and here I have a matrix of size Mn, and this is a column vector, considered as a column vector, which means I have n rows and 1 column, okay? So I can do the multiplication, it has a meaning, and the result is 0, the column vector with m rows, okay? So this is the meaning of this thing. This is called nullity space of A. And I will denote this null or null space, and I will denote this null of A, okay? So null of A will be this W. This is in fact a subspace of what? Okay, so you see that this is a set of vectors of R to the n. So it's a subspace actually of R to the n with the previous operations that I've seen earlier. Okay? Maybe we need a, let me introduce a notation. Okay? So if V is a R vector space and W is a subset of V, we denote W, and we will do assign a symbol less or equal to V if W is a subspace of V. Okay, don't be confused between the word subset and subspace. A subspace is a subset with 3 conditions. Okay, so there are many conditions to subspace. Okay, so we will use this symbol when we have a subspace. Okay, so here we have seen the null space, and yeah, let me give a couple more examples. So 1, 2, yeah, let's give a couple more examples. So three, okay? So for example, we can denote R of X this is a R vector space, and here what do I mean? I mean the set of all degrees polynomials, all possible degrees, not fixed by some integer n. So all polynomials of all degrees. So this set is actually an R vector space. And this, the set of polynomials of degree less than n, this is actually, this is a subspace of this one. Okay, I did not define what is the plus and the scalar multiplication, but it is the same basically. The only, so the difference is that n, for this element, the n of the degree is not fixed, okay? So you can take any polynomial of any degree. But the operations are the same. And then this will be a subspace of this. Okay, how to make a lot of subspaces? For example, if you have this, and there are subspaces of V, then if you take their intersection, okay? So this is, you remember, this means the set of W, they are in V such that W belongs to W1 and W belongs to W2. Okay, this is called the intersection of to subspace. Then this will be also a subspace of V. Of V. Well, actually, it will be a subspace of each W1 and W2. Okay? And also, you can do the following. Well, yeah, this is the exercise. Okay? So try to prove this exercise. So you need to prove that if you are given two subspace and you do the intersection, then they are both subspace of each initial vector space. Okay, I think I will stop for here today. Thank you very much.